Hey everyone, my name is Mark Guay and I'm one of your guest coaches here at Group Coaching HQ. I'm really excited to get to meet many of you and share my love for group coaching and what I've learned throughout my journey. What I love most about group coaching is its ability to bring a diverse group of people together, but specifically I find group coaching to help people integrate the lessons that they learn in a deep coaching session into their external world. And the reason for that is I found that, yes, on a one-to-one coaching relationship, you can go really deep with your clients, but a lot of times that depth really can sort of stay in that relationship with that coach, meaning it's very similar to if you have a meditation practice or a yoga practice, right? When we go to a meditation cushion or studio, it's a lot easier to sort of keep that Zen part of ourselves there, but it's difficult to integrate that part of ourself or the realizations that we have or that we create or that we make and bring those realizations into our work and into our other interpersonal relationships. So with group coaching, I find that it's helpful for them to be able to build a relationship with a group of people that helps them actually integrate the behaviors that they specifically want to bring into their world. It's super powerful. And for those of you who have done any research into self-actualization, you know that you need to have a group of people that support you throughout that journey, right, as you integrate new behaviors. Let's see here. So I want to talk about a couple things, and I just took some notes. My biggest challenge for group coaching was, how do I create a space that is safe? And when I say safe, I mean a place where people will really show up and they will take off any masks that they have and drop any personas that they've been comfortable, wearing for the majority of their lives and actually walk that edge of growth. And that can be really scary because that requires a serious level of vulnerability. And what I found really helpful about, or how to create that type of space, is really a couple things. It's multifaceted, but there's two main elements that come to mind. The first is consistently creating engaging opportunities for them to meet each other on a very vulnerable level, right? And Zoom in particular, putting them into pairs, either dyads or small groups, consistently every time you meet them, and offering challenging questions without your presence that allows them to really drop in fully. And it takes time. It's not going to happen over one session. I mean, it could, but it usually over a several session period, whether that's a few weeks or months, you start to see this incredible depth begin to occur in your group coaching. It's really powerful. The other thing that I found really helpful is being very strict and extremely discerning with how someone gets into the group. If you try to open it up to everybody, a lot of times you'll get people that will not feel empowered necessarily by the other people in the group, and they won't come in. And so being very discerning about who you allow into the group, making sure that they're ready to do the deep work, and making sure that there's an alignment of values in terms of growth, in terms of accountability, in terms of the depth that someone really wants to go. And of course that discernment process comes through whether you do interviews or long forms, where you essentially get to know people as much as possible before you put them into groups. The number one piece of advice that I would give to someone starting to coach groups is create a learning zone. If you immediately start doing this as your work, a lot of times you're throwing yourself into a performance zone. And there's a lot of nuances that occur when you learn to bring your own personality and your own gifts into a group coaching relationship. So start off with a learning zone. And for me, that was at my house, I host what are called Jefferson dinners. And I bring people over to my house and I curate, who shows up for the dinner. And I invite anywhere from like 8 to 10 people. and I tell them that there's a theme, and I tell them how to show up. I tell them specifically, for instance, not to show up and talk about your work. Instead, I give them an engaging question to to ask each person as they arrive, and then I host what's called a Jefferson dinner, which is where we have structured questions around a theme, and I essentially am coaching them throughout that process. But what that's helpful for is it's a safe place to be able to practice. How do I group people together? How do I ask a challenging question? What is it like to bring these people together that seem different, but actually they have a complementary polarity in their relationship? And you get to learn these subtleties. And then, of course, you get to feel what it's like to truly own your gifts in that play zone, in that learning zone. So number one piece of advice, create learning zones, places for you to play around. And if you fail, no big deal. So doing that allows you to then show up in a performance zone, which would be your paid or group coaching relationships, in a way where you've practiced, you've really honed your gifts. So with that, I look forward to meeting you all, and I'm really excited about Group Coaching HQ. I think group coaching, quite honestly, is as powerful as one-to-one coaching, and there's elements of it that one-to-one coaching cannot get to. And it's a super powerful way to be able to reach a diverse group of people and really, truly help affect change in a client's life. Looking forward to meeting you all, and thank you so much for joining us on this adventure.